Hello, good morning, everyone. And this is Understanding the SDGs in English, an interpreter's take 2. So this is a second video. Sustainability and coffee is the theme of this video. Okay. I was busy and I could not record this video for such a long time. So I apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the reference book for today's video. I learned a lot from this book. This book is titled コーヒーで読み解く SDGs or Understanding the SDGs through Coffee. This book was written by Yoshiaki Kawashima, Yukio Ikemoto, and Kana Yamashita. This book was published in 2021. Okay, so when you have a cup of coffee, for example, I like coffee. I have coffee today. And if you go to Starbucks, McDonald's, Palace Coffee, or whatever, you buy a cup of coffee. But what do you know about that coffee? The staff of the coffee shop says, "Hey, this coffee bean was made in Ethiopia, in Colombia, in Brazil, or something like that." So, but maybe that's the only information that we get. So what else do we know? What do you know about coffee? I think it's very important to know that we don't know anything about coffee. We need to learn more about the coffee production. Okay, so let's start. This book says that coffee and coffee production touches all the SDGs. So I'm trying to get this book now. Just 1 second, please. Yes, this is the book. Thank you. So we touch all the 17 goals. I cannot talk about all the 17 goals today, but I want to cover as many goals as possible. For example, coffee price has changed a lot. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up and goes down. So if the coffee price goes up and down and changes, what happens? It can change the people's lives. If the coffee price is lower, people get lower amount of money. People get poor, right? So coffee price changes and people's poverty also changes. People get poor, people get rich, depending on the coffee price. And this is a very important thing about coffee price. So it's related to SDG 8. SDG 8 is about economy, okay? Sustainable economy. But coffee price changes and it's not sustainable. And coffee production and gender equality, this is also a problem. For example, in Colombia, coffee production has a lot of steps. It has a lot of processes, but most of the time, men work and women work at home. But we need to think about the gender equality of coffee production. So what can men do? What can women do? And we have to think about what to do in coffee production. This is related to SDG 5, gender equality. Okay. Next is about coffee production and water. As you know, producing coffee requires a lot of water. So you need to use a lot of water to produce coffee beans. And of course, water is related to SDG 6. And this map shows that when you make coffee, you need to use a lot of water. So if your area produces a lot of coffee, it means that you run out of water. So this is also a problem, coffee beans and water. And coffee production areas, sorry, this is a misspell, AREAS is the correct spelling, I'm sorry. But coffee production areas will change in the future. So because we have global warming now, the temperature is going up. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, right? And coffee production goes to higher areas, highlands, because they need a better temperature. And if they go to highlands to produce coffee, there will be trees that will be cut down. They go to highlands and they will cut down trees. If they cut down trees, more CO2 will be emitted, or will go out, will be released, right? So this will be bad for global warming. So another climate crisis may result. So this coffee production and climate change are linked together. So this is about SDG 13, climate change. We need to do something about it. We also need to save water. That's about SDG 6. And technology can help save water when producing coffee. This is a machine used to produce coffee beans, but they use less water. So it's good for the environment. So technology can help save water. And next is about us. We need to know more. We need to learn more about coffee. And how do we learn? Certification is a good way to start. So, for example, when you go to a coffee shop, please check the certification mark before buying coffee beans. For example, if you go to a convenience store and buy a cup of coffee, then please look at the cup, okay? And for example, this is called Rainforest Alliance, and this is called Fair Trade, okay? And Rainforest Alliance is this one, and it helps a lot of SDG goals. It helps 12 SDG goals, and Fair Trade is here. Fair Trade is here. This is very old, and Fair Trade helps at least 8 goals. So when you go to buy a cup of coffee, please check the certification, and this will help you make a better decision. So this is about us. This is about consumers, okay? So consumers is about SDG 12, better consumption, sustainable consumption, and sustainable production, okay? We can take actions. And next, this is a little difficult topic, but there are 2 types of growing coffee beans. The first one is shade grown method. Shade is like when you have trees, under the shade, it's cooler. Oh, it's nice. Okay, so shade grown coffee is this one on the right. You have a lot of trees, and this means that the bugs, small insects, are eaten, they disappear, so it's good. And they have trees, so there will be more pollination to make more trees. And if they have shade, if they have trees and leaves, you need less herbicides. So it's good for the environment. Herbicides are chemicals. So we don't want to use chemicals. And this is good because it has more biodiversity. Biodiversity is about having a lot of animals, plants, species in the world. Okay, so shade-grown coffee was very good, but something happened. Now people in the farms try to use sun-grown method. So here they don't have trees, no trees, but instead they have the sun. So they grow coffee beans with the sun. What happens? It can make more coffee beans because the area is larger. It's larger area. So they can make more coffee beans. It's faster. Okay. Why do we need more coffee beans? Because many people around the world, everyone in the world want coffee beans. So that's a global demand. So because everybody wants coffee beans, the coffee production changed. And in the sun-grown coffee method, they need more chemicals, more herbicides. So they spray a lot of chemicals, which is bad for the environment. It's bad for the environment. And they need more space to produce more coffee beans. And more trees are cut down. You see that there are almost no trees. In the shade-grown coffee, there are many trees. And if you have less trees, then it's less. It has a less biodiversity, so it's bad. Okay, so shade-grown coffee and sun-grown coffee are totally the opposite, totally different. But why do we stop? Why did we stop shade-grown coffee, and why did we start sun-grown coffee? It's because people all over the world needed more coffee beans. People like drinking coffee, and people in Japan, people in the US, people in Africa, they want to have a cup of coffee. That's why there is a higher demand for coffee. And that demand changed all the situations. What do you think about this? And also, coffee is related to conflicts. Conflicts are about fighting against each other. It's about killing each other. It's bad. And for example, in Rwanda, Rwanda is a country in Africa, okay? And when coffee price goes down, then the economy goes down. People have less money, okay? And people hate each other. They become poor, so they kill each other. That's the Rwanda genocide. This is the Rwanda genocide, okay? So, of course, peace is related to SDG 16. And coffee is partly responsible for the conflicts and killing each other. It's very bad. So we need to control the coffee price. It's very important for the economy and for the people. Okay? So I talked a lot. I'm sorry, but once again, coffee touches all SDGs, all the 17 goals. Please try to look at the coffee beans from SDGs viewpoint. It's very important to look at one thing from different angles, and you learn and you discover much more this way. Okay. All right. That's it for today. This is Understanding the SDGs in English, an interpreter's take 2. And I apologize if the sound or there was some noise around me because there is a construction going on. So I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you very much.